Today we're up in the hottest part of the house, the room directly over my workshop in the garage. And so you'll have to excuse seeing only some of me because we're really focused on the table. This is a table I made several years ago. I wanted to try making a table just out of 2x4s. And so that's what I did. Its primary use is to store wood, as you can see, but it's sturdy enough it can be used as a workspace or a work table as well. And so we'll go into that next. The table, as I said, is made of 2x4s. There's three 2x4s cut and put together at each of the four ends. And then the center stretchers are made of 2x6s. With the two on these ends, they have a rabbet. The rabbet has been put in to place boards across, or sort of stretchers across. And there's three of those. Sometimes there are four. Depends on how many I have. And then I lay the wood across it. And then down below, we have a piece of plywood, drops down. It's been cut at the corners. And so there we have larger pieces of wood, plus a kind of a crate here that holds smaller pieces of wood. And so this is a great place to keep pine, poplar, oak, walnut, different kinds of woods that gets it out of the garage into a place that's easier to hold them. It is not air conditioned up here, obviously, but it's still a good place to keep the wood. So this is the top of the table. You have a board running across, usually a pine board, but it's whatever we have at the moment. I like to keep a tape measure and a pencil in here. So I can, when I need wood, I can come up here and measure and cut what I need, or just measure and take it down to the garage. Sometimes I will bring my saw bench up here and cut stuff here directly, rather than having to take a large board down. And you can see here in the back, we have where we store some of the long boards, long 2x6s, some other wood that actually came with a house that I'm saving in case we need it for a project. And so I'll bring the saw bench up and cut those right here, rather than trying to navigate that thing down the stairs. So here's a picture or a look at the corners. The corners are actually three 2x4s put together, and then a mortise is cut or made in the side to allow the side rails to pass through. The side rails have tenons on the end. And so those are glued and fit into the four-leg compound sections to form the frame of the table. So down here you see we have side rails, same thing, with mortise and tenon going into the leg, and then a piece of plywood that is cut at the corners and then laid down on that to give us a bottom platform. And the bottom platform has extra pieces of wood as well as the crate. And the crate has smaller pieces thrown in to give that an easier place to store it. The table is sturdy enough that you could actually lay down plywood or bolt plywood in and then grab the table, move back and forth. I just knocked a piece of wood down, that's it. It's otherwise a very sturdy table. And so if you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a fancy European bench, or try to make one yourself, or don't have a lot of room, this is a great way to make a bench out of 2x4s and 2x6s, some plywood, and you could still add a vise on the front, face vise, that 2x6 should be able to handle it. This could make a good workbench. I have thought about doing that myself, but then I made that portable workbench that you can see in the other video, and that was better for my needs. But when I come up here, sometimes if the weather is not too freezing or not too hot, I'll actually use this surface as a work table as well. And that is my work storage table.